This is Kerry Stellar within the Girls Corner, and I am here speaking to Mike Busby of Pro Pump Podcast. I am so excited to have Mike on. He interviewed me the other day, and it was absolutely amazing. I don't get interviewed often, so when I do, it's it's great. And you have such an incredible presence about you, and the way that you ask your questions, it flowed flawlessly. I felt like it was talking to a friend. Mike, how you doing?
Good, good. How you been?
Really good. Really good couple days. I'm so excited to be
Yeah.
talking to you again. I feel like we're just catching up.
Yeah, no, like last time when we were talking before, it was awesome because we had that connection like you're saying too, and then we started talking and started getting like in really opened up more about everything. That was awesome.
So, how did you get into all of this podcasting, interviewing? You do a lot. What brought all of this about?
Yeah, so the biggest thing, so I did the mentor coach with Phil and when I got in that and then I was with Action Sledge, with the supplement company that they got. And I seen Seth Rosie, and I started, looking more into that. And then I looked over, and then I got in the demo crew. Well, then all of a sudden, one of the guys said, "Hey, let's start a podcast." I said, "All right, let's start a podcast." Best thing that could happen is we got a lot of people that came on. Starting more people come on, and I was actually with another guy, and he would do all the videos, so I would edit all the videos and send it over to him. And so then we got really, involved. But then something happened where I was like, you know what? I wanted to branch off and I wanted to kind of leave the X and Sledge, and the Denver crew and everything. And I left. And it's great because then I waited about 2 years because people are like, start your own podcast, start your own podcast. And I think of different ways, right, to start my own podcast, again. And I went one way and I didn't like it. So I went to another way, and this was the biggest one I had. And so with Phil and everything, I seen Phil, and then I seen what Product One when they first came out. So Product One came out nutrition, and those guys I knew from Axe and Sledge, a couple of guys that were working over there, and they went over and they opened up their own, supplement company with really good guys that really know what they're doing, in the back end of it. And so then I started talking to them, and I joined Project One, and then I started talking about, what, I'm going to start a podcast. I asked them, I was like, you guys want to back me up in this? And they said, yeah, 100%. So then they came on, I put their logo on, and then it branched off to Victory Multisport, and then the rest is history. And then I started emailing and messaging different people that wanted to come on, and it just clicked. Everything just kept forming, forming, forming. I was booked all the way to October.
And that's amazing because, most people that start interviewing, you don't really get booked up like that. It takes a while to get that much content and that many people to come on. And let's not forget, to be able to get your mind wrapped around interviewing that many different personalities, people don't understand. It is not the easiest thing because you can ask the same questions over and over again, but you might have to like really dig deep because some people it's like pulling teeth. You're talking to them and it's like, God, can you answer a question? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I've had people like that where I'm like, all right, now I got to actually like feel like I have to lead them into something because some
Yeah.
people just freeze up on camera. And I mean, I guess that's natural. And even as a fighter, they still do. So it's pretty funny. But it is. It's a great business. And I wouldn't even call it a business. I'd call it an industry. Um,
Hmm.
and I love it. And I'm excited to have you a part of it. Who has been the best or biggest interview you have done yet?
Oh, so I didn't realize this. And I mean, Phil was probably one of the biggest, right? So I would say the way he did it, he actually emailed me or no, he messaged me back. And it was actually about a month and a half, 2 months later, he messaged me back. And he's really busy guy, he's all over the place, everything he's doing. And so he messaged me back. He said, "Hey, sorry I missed this, but messaged my his secretary. I messaged her, emailed her, and then we set everything up from there." And he actually was really cool as he worked around, like he was traveling during that week, and so he's like, "No, I want to be on there. I'm excited." And then that was probably the biggest one because he actually knows oh man, Adam Sandler from Grown Ups, What's that dude's name? He's like a bigger dude, heavier set guy.
Oh, Kevin James.
Kevin James. Yeah. So Kevin James is his. He told me on the interview is Kevin James is his one of his kids' godfathers.
Oh,
And so yeah, so that really, that was awesome. And then plus he's doing a bunch of other fighters and everybody else. So I mean, even look at Dustin Poirier when he really branched off, from Conor McGregor fight, and all of a sudden he took off,
big time.
and Phil's been training since then. So that was one of the other ones. And then for TikTok wise,
Sorry, I'm sorry.
no, you're fine.
She
No,
makes
for
an
TikTok
appearance in
wise,
almost every interview I do. She has to make some. Stop it.
that's awesome though.
Yeah, walk right in front of the camera. Go on.
uh, King's Community. I don't know if you heard. King's Community has 3.5 million followers.
Amazing.
And so that was really interesting. I didn't realize I was interviewing his wife, and then she told me, like, she messaged me, and she's like, my husband does this, and I was like, well, that's awesome. He helps men deal with their mental, what's going on of thinking and progressing in the right way, because we know a lot of men, and not just it's men and women, but we know a lot of men deal with a lot of stuff they don't tell a lot of people, right?
Absolutely.
And so, because they think that being a man, they don't need to tell nobody, but in reality, you got it. And so that's why they help him. And then it's a huge group. So he does all these videos and everything. And what's cool is that they came on and they went from there. So, um, those are my two top ones, right now. I mean, I had Brandon. Brandon's now, he backs us up and sponsors us now. It's Health Performance. So he actually trains Iron Gary. He's in Ireland,
Okay.
and he's a UFC welterweight right
Yep.
now. And then he trained Amanda Nunes, double champ, and then that was cool. And so that was really cool, and just the reason why I mentioned Brandon because his background, he trained with Phil for a little while and then he branched off, and so his background his resume is amazing, right? And he has that breakdown of all the champions and everything he's done. And so, yeah, those are probably my top ones right now.
That's amazing. Those are great ones to have. And I mean, top
Yeah.
the the best memorable interviews are the ones that you have so much to say about and keep talking about, because I mean, those are the greatest ones when people give you all of themselves and who they are. And a big name helps
Yeah.
as well. And I actually have something to tell you, a very cool tip. When you interview Manimal, ask him about Kevin James.
Oh, I will.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not going to give any more information, but definitely ask him because he's got some cool. John is trained with some very cool. He's got very cool stories that he could tell you, and
That's gonna be awesome.
it's been a great experience working with him. And when he said that you guys were going to interview, I'm like, we got to have him on Token Joke as well. So we're going to have you on that too, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And we're going to try a bunch of things. And thank you for putting our logo in the background and our step
Yep.
and repeat. We're going to put yours up. We're super excited.
Yeah, amazing. No, I'm super excited because like I always think outside the box, right? So I'm looking, and I interviewed you. I said, you know what, I'm gonna throw this out there because I want to see, because I want to bring on cannabis, a company that would, be on there. And Hevel Farms, with Hevel Farms, and everything happened with them, nothing bad. It was just miscommunication, right? That was all that was. And then so we branched off, and I got two more on. And what was cool is that when you guys came on, I thought outside about it. I said, look they have a tournament for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and on top of it, they have cannabis, right? You smoke up, and then you get to it, and you get on the ground. And what's cool about it is also it's you guys are doing something so that everybody knows it's not a drug. It's even more than ever before than everybody thinks about. It helps you recover. I mean, look at the Diaz brothers; they use it all the time. I think it helps with a lot of stuff with asthma too. To be honest with you,
It
because
does.
with the breathing wise and everything else, we have cannabinoids in our body that we need to progress in the right direction. And when we're babies, we kind of break off from that, but we need to put them back in to make our bodies be healthy again, in a certain way.
Yep. A lot of people don't know that your body has
No.
cannabinoid receptors, and the terpenes, I believe they're called. I don't want to say it
Yep,
wrong.
terpenes.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's like the medicine and the receptors are what takes it, and they send it to where it needs to go. And I actually interviewed with the guy that owned this was years ago, Terp House, and he explained a lot of the medicinal parts and how things went with your body. And I was really I was blown away. I didn't know we had cannabinoid receptors in our body. So it really makes sense why certain strains work better for other people, different types work better. I love a good hybrid. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And I do use it medicinally. I actually I smoke before I train. After it helps me my mind relax. So it's got a multitude of things that I like about it. And do
Hmm.
you actually smoke yourself?
Yeah, so I do CBD right now. So that's
Okay.
what I'm doing right now. And so I'll do well, the reason why is I'll have like something with like it's like anxiety sometimes I have a little bit of it from
Okay.
fight. I don't know if it's from fighting or anything, losing weight and stuff like that, dropping up and down and everything.
Yeah.
So the reason why, and also I use that for anxiety because I kind of don't like using prescription medicine, that's my
I
biggest
hear
thing.
you.
And also what I do like this a lot is the CBD crystal, and a lot of people don't understand is reason why I use that, it's 100% CBD because it helps with the body, and then it relaxes you, and also on the same side, you get recovery really quick also because I mean I even use hemp, so hemp protein I use that too. So
Yeah.
a
Oh,
lot
hemp
of
is
people
great for
don't a lot of
protein.
people don't. Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't understand how valuable that hemp protein really can be towards the body.
Absolutely. I eat hemp parts of my yogurt, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the best proteins you can have. And
Hmm.
natural is really the way to go anyway. But it's crazy because now it's so acceptable to be able to smoke or do edibles and stuff while you're fighting and training, where it wasn't years and years ago, and people couldn't really talk about it. That's why I kind of said it like, can we talk about that? You know what I mean?
No,
Because some people
100%.
don't like to, but I am all about breaking stigmas and everything. I mentioned that
Yep.
I microdose in mushrooms. That helps me open my mind. My synapses fire. And I mean, when I say microdose, it's like the littlest amount. People like that does something. I'm like, for me, it does. I
Yeah.
don't want to be hammered. So for me, it does just enough. Um, Tell us about your fight career. I mean, we know you have a podcast, and that's great. And I love
Thanks.
it. And I think that what you're doing is awesome. But I want to know a little bit about that, how you started, where you went.
Yeah. So, all right. So my brother I wrestled back in high school.
Okay.
And then when I wrestled back in high school, we won 2 state titles, first time in the history of the high school career.
Wow.
And everybody that did that for team wise, everybody knows. I was on, and the reason why I was on JV, and we got I got second on that my sophomore year. And a lot of people don't understand is that when I was a freshman, I only weighed like 88 pounds,
Yeah.
and I won one match, and then I branched up to sophomore year, and I was like 32-7, I think it was.
Mm.
So I kind of like caught on like quick, right? And then I turned 18. We won the two titles for state championship. I turned 18. My brother said, 'cause I worked in the refinery business. And my brother's like, hey, I think you should try mixed martial arts. I said, and he told me about Rich Franklin. He told me about Chuck Liddell, all these guys, right? Tito Ortiz. He even said like Chuck Liddell used to smoke cigarettes back in that day, and used to go in and fight, and I never knew that,
Yes,
right? I
literally.
never knew that. I've never knew that. And then I was like, wow, that's crazy. So then we found a gym, and it was called Team No Ego. And
Mm.
they were at the time they were out of Plainfield. Now they're out of Oswego, Illinois. And that those coaches that were in there at the time, or they're still there. One was a cop. He was one of the cops over there, and he ran it. And also on the same side, they helped train Matt Hughes.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so that was really cool, right? Seeing that and then train with these guys. And then so I trained with them, and then I went to fight one promotion. And so this is what happened. I'm 7-3 in my record, 100%. So with all these businesses, I had to get businesses licensed, and everything, with the promotions and everything else happened. A lot of these businesses didn't report my fights to uh, the record holder, right? The commission.
Yes.
They never reported them to. And so what happened was a lot of these fighters back then, they had to redo their record pretty much.
Yeah.
And so now on my record it says 1-3, but my record's not 1-3, it's 7-3.
Yeah.
And so I have a couple pictures to show it and everything, right? And I could turn pro probably, and everything else. But I was gonna fight Anthony Pettis's promotion recently,
Okay.
and I was gonna fight on there, and I did not because I backed out, because I had to at the time. It was a with all the different blood work they do now. I didn't realize. I thought I had everything, so then I was like, all right, I guess I didn't have everything. So
Okay.
I felt bad. I felt bad because of everything going on. So then I fought. So we'll go back a little bit. So my first fight, I lost, and I'll never forget. I never got knocked out, TKO, knocked out, nothing. But I lost. I learned, moved on. Then I went to my second fight and I won, and I won it right in front of Rich Franklin. He came to the Firefighter Extreme Hickey Fairgrounds,
Mm.
and he was the middleweight champion at the time, and of UFC. And so I did 3 rounds with the guy, and I was a fight of the night and everything. I did right in front of the guy.
That's
And so
amazing.
ever since that night, I was like number one or number two guy in the state.
Mm.
And so nobody would fight me at 135 pounds. And I was like, well, why is nobody fighting me? Well,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden they bought a guy from Cincinnati, Ohio, and that was out of Rich Franklin's gym. I found out.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So then
amazing.
I lost him in the first round. I never been this move, okay? It was going in this, I'll never forget this until the day, I'll never forget this part. Is when that guy came in from Cincinnati and we went to Buffalo Wild Wings the way in, and they bought us all our dinners. We did interviews and everything, but the crowd was like the UFC crowd. It was insane. It was
That's
like we had probably 2,000, 3,000 people inside the restaurant. Like it was insane.
mm.
And it was the most awesome experience because I had I gave my signatures out, I done interviews, I done all that. And then then you gotta go to fight night, and then you gotta get ready for the fight mentally and physically, be ready for everything. And a lot of people don't understand this also is that I had buddies that had fighters back out, and they would pick the person out in the crowd to fight
Yes.
my buddy. And they were like, "How would that happen?" He's like, I was like, "Well, back then they never did a lot of blood work, they never did like the physical
Yeah.
or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Not as serious as it is now. So that's how I really came out in the fighting business, and I always worked out hard, right? So like I had to keep on my workout and my agenda and everything else to keep moving forward because if I don't, then I'm gonna lose. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And so what I would do, I worked like people think I'm crazy, but I worked like 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, 12 hours, 80 hours a week to 70 hours a week. And then on top of it, I would train, and I would go to 3 gyms. I'd bring a Muay Thai, a boxer, and then I bring jiu-jitsu in, and I bring a wrestler in, one of the baddest wrestlers, in Illinois. That's what I would do. And the people and my coaches would had to be like top coaches around the area. I didn't want anybody that's not top or anything. I didn't want anybody knowing my business. And with the social media, right? Everybody's posting, right? Their fight, their camps on social media. I never did any of that. That's the thing. I never did any of that stuff. That's how people are like, well, who are you or what's this? It's like back then we never really, I was so busy focused on my fighting career and my work career that I didn't really branch up to like, try to impress people on social media all the time. I never done that. And that's
Yeah.
what I believe. Like a lot of times, a lot of these, a lot psychologically, I think that a lot of these fighters, when they look online a lot of times and the comments and everything else going on, they see that, and it really messes up with their minds and everything because
Oh yeah.
some of these fighters believe probably they are, you know, not good enough to beat the other person sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you planning on fighting again?
I mean, I always have that urge, right? So like I have my daughter and my kids and everything, and but I love competing, right? I love competing. I miss it, and I still work out 6 7 days a week, no matter what. I work out. I went from I was gonna fight 145, but I backed out. I backed out of that right now. because of certain reasons and everything on that part I already said. But um, I went from I used to weigh like 190, and so I dropped down to 170, and then I was gonna fight 170, and I decided not to. Then I was gonna fight 155, I decided not to, and then I decided 145 was kind of like, because I've been watching these guys, right? Some of these guys weigh 190, and
Yeah.
they dropped down 155, and so and then I seen Sterling, he went 170, and he dropped down all the way to 135.
Yeah.
So that was very intriguing to me.
Oh yeah, a lot of them they drop down a lot of weight to be able to fight. Personal opinion, I've never been, I don't compete in
Yeah.
mixed martial arts. I would love to do an MMA fight. That would actually be really fun for me. But I'll be honest with you, I probably wouldn't want to cut weight. I walk around at 125. I don't know if would want to go down to 115 even to take a fight. I'm a comfortable person where,
Mhm.
most of the people that I train with are bigger than me anyway. So if I went in there with somebody that was just a little bit, I don't know, but you see people that take extreme weight cuts. So it's like maybe like, yeah, going down to 115 would be like the smart idea when you think about it. But
Yeah.
it's a tough thing to go, well, which one would you want to do? Because I could even gain 10 pounds if I wanted to and go up,
Hmm.
but I don't want to do that.
Right. No, I mean like it's a big thing, and so like I went from team to ego, and I branched off. When I turned, I got older, and I started going branching off different areas. I went to train at Clay Guida's gym, for a little while. And then I went to go train at Kankakee, back to Kankakee again. And I trained with one of the guys. He told me, and he was a really good guy. And I bought in a boxer that was like, he was like 84 and only lost two fights. That's it. But he went back and he won those two fights again. And so like I bought guys that were like really good guys, like
Yeah.
to come in and show me boxing. So like now I feel so comfortable that I've been training this long. I really feel like I'm like a version. I'm just gonna, this is who I look up to. I look up to Anderson Silva
Hmm.
in the mixed martial arts community, and I look up to John Jones, and I look up to GSP, and I look up to Matt Hughes, and all these guys, right? And the biggest one that I would say that my style really kind of goes with is probably Anderson Silva style.
Okay. Oh, he's got great style.
Yeah, so like I like doing the kicks, I like doing the front kicks, I like doing the striking, and I used to just be a wrestler. So imagine I was only a wrestler, so I just take you down like Matt Hughes. And
Yeah.
then so now since I'm comfortable with the striking, I know how to taste, and like with GSP, like he talks about a lot of times too, is when you get in the octagon, you want to feel relaxed, right? You want to just feel that motion. Don't get jitters or anything. Just feel relaxed and let it flow, and really think twice before you do. You got to be a smart fighter. As I got older, I've been noticing that a lot more. You got to act in the octagon in a smart way, and break it all down before you go in, because you can win these fights easy. I mean, look at the different fights like John Jones fought, and he fought awesome fights, right? He come in with the jab, but then all of a sudden when he come with the jab, he actually have an elbow coming in,
Yeah.
and then like he would do like a back spinning kick, and then he would come in with the freaking elbow out of nowhere. It's just amazing seeing the different stuff he does. And then look at John Jones when he fought Daniel Cormier, right? And he fought him in the second fight. He kept hitting his stomach, boom, 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 and then finally DC thought he was gonna hit the stomach, and he went up top and knocked him out.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you got to have that kind of talent, and I think, and you got to have that kind of mindset going into it. Like, this is it. Like, I was the type of guy, like, I'd go in, if it was fight time, I would fight anybody, anywhere, at any time. There's fights I fought for free
Mm.
because I love the sport.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I love competing. So, I mean, I go to fights, I sell a couple tickets for like $40 back then, and $40, and I'll go in and fight, not make anything off of sponsors or nothing.
That's amazing. And then you know what you do? You have to have a love for the sport. There was such a long time where people weren't getting paid. And or I mean, really, people still don't make a ton of money. We can, that's that's a whole nother day's conversation, but it's incredible. And you have to be smart, but you have to love the sport as well. Because if not, If you're looking to make money in the sport, you're definitely in it for the wrong reason. And the same thing as a
Oh yeah.
journalist. If you're looking to make money as a journalist, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, because it comes with sponsorships and it comes with time. However, it's hold on one second. I just got, yeah, it is important because most people don't, they do it because it's money, but you have to do it because you love it, and you really do. And you sound like you love the sport of fighting. You're still in it, doing interviewing, doing everything you're doing, and that's the best way that you can stay in a sport, stay in a world where you're not actually being active in it. So I think that's super important, and I love what you're doing, and I'm so excited for you. Do you have any events coming up?
No, nothing right now. Nothing at all that really I'm really looking into yet.
Well, would you, I mean, are you thinking about starting to go to fights or anything like that? Because that's a lot of fun. When I first started, one of the first things I did, I mentioned to you, was go to amateur fights, and then went to like Bellator was my first pro fight that I went to. So I could see you being there on press row, interviewing people, being in the pit after, in the press room, and it's an amazing experience.
No, I mean I think I was talking to Rush. He's his nickname Rush MMA, and I actually just got on. He put me on this group of like journalists from all over, right? UK to America to everywhere, and I was like, it's like close to 80 guys now, journalists on there now, and then like they post everything. I share different stuff for people, everybody in there, and then I help them out, branch them out, get their name out there and everything, on my stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know. I was looking at it like remote wise, too, to kind of interview and kind of do that, because I mean, I really like the style and everything what's going on, and I like the motion this is going, right, towards and stuff like that. So I mean, that's not out of the question.
That is something for the future.
Yeah.
Definitely something for the future. Mike, I want to thank you, one, for giving me your time and speaking to me tonight. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to get out there, or anything we haven't spoken about that you want to get out there to the world?
No, I just want to say thank you for Toke, coming on the tournament wise, and I hope that I can be there one day to really see everything and see how it progresses, and really meet everybody and meet you guys in person and everything. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then also, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and everything, and coming on and talking to you about everything. And I can't wait and see what the future holds for everybody over there at Token Choke Challenge too.
I can't wait either, and I'm excited for the future, working with you and doing everything that we're going to do together, and
Oh yeah.
co-promoting. I think it's super important to do that, because you know what, there's a lot of competition out there, and if we could all level each other up, that's the best thing in the world. And with that, where can everybody follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me at Pro Pump 101 Podcast on Instagram, YouTube channel, and then you always also can subscribe on our Spotify anytime, worldwide, everywhere. And also on top of it, you can follow me on Instagram, Mike Busby, my personal one also. It's private, so I kind of let certain people in and out, just so everybody knows. But besides that, that's it. And I really looking forward to the future and seeing where it goes, because I was talking to certain people about uh because I've interviewed certain people in MMA community,
Yeah.
and I really was looking forward to the I was talking to Rush about it. I was like, man, I think I'm gonna do start interviewing some MMA and start going there and see where that goes. And then what I would do is I would branch out to that part, and then I would do the podcast on the side too, because I got Victory Multisport. This is a platform for them too for the podcast. And
Yeah.
then everybody, all the sponsors, I want to make a platform where everybody has somewhere to talk and go, and we can all meet up, right? We can all meet up, talk, and just collectively talk about everything, and then go from there.
I
So
love
I
it.
really appreciate it.
No, and you know what? I appreciate it. And I thank you so much for your time. And I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to speaking to you again in the future, doing more interviews, and we're going to have
Oh
you on
yeah,
the Toke and Choke show, and it's going to be so exciting. And Mike, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening for me.
no problem. You have a great night.
You too. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.